There's nobody that has been here that will say that they have not at one point or the other not felt like, oh, am I sure I didn't make a mistake coming here? I got on that shift that day, and it's a night shift. And people, those that do day shift, they just leave things for the night shift people that because they believe you're just coming there will be not so much things to do. So they just came, and then there's this woman that we entered the ward, and then everyone was stinky, and then we're like, what is smelling? So myself and the lady that were on the ship together were checking and looking for where is this smell coming from? Then we saw the woman, and when we saw the woman, oh my God, we're like, why would they leave
this woman like this?
We cleaned that night.
You clean poo.
And that night I was like, Kai.
Shebi no re Oluwa. Shebi no re Oluwa.
I was like, and I was telling the lady that we were together that if a prophet had told me in Nigeria that Samuel Shitu you would do this, I would tell that prophet that you are saying nonsense.
I think that welcome to another wonderful edition of Naija Across Borders, where we go beyond just the journey and dive into the realities, the struggles that people face in abroad. And together with me this edition, I have somebody I respect so much, Mr. Samuel Shitu. Welcome to Naija Across Borders.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Yoruba will say Agbeyeje.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. For the sake of our viewers who may be just meeting you for the first time, could you tell us where you were living in Nigeria and what you were really doing before you left?
Okay. Before I came here, I was living in Abuja. I was working with the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. So I was basically their data man at the Abuja Airport.
Data man at the Abuja Airport.
I was counting aeroplane.
Was a great job. So you had a very promising job, if I may say.
Yeah.
And at what point did you decide to Japa? Because from your own story, it's not joblessness. Some people Japa because they had no job. Could it be the pressure from your wife or insecurity? What really prompted you to Japa?
My situation is not a Japa situation. Okay. So I was about to get a job, and then they were like, I needed a master's degree so that I can be graded well for the job. So I went to University of Abuja to do a master's program, and while I think we had even finished the program. So I did MFE, Masters in Financial Economics then. So we had finished it, and then I was about to go talk to the people that were about to give me the job, and then they said that, I think ASU went on strike. So when ASU went on strike, my promising employer and I said, okay, give us something, even if it is to whom it may concern, that you finish your dissertation, you're just at the point of getting a certificate. So I went to, and this one I'm talking about, like, it's not like I just finished the exam. I finished the exam maybe 6-7 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went to the Department of Economics. Department of Economics said the result is not with them, it is with postgraduate school. I went to postgraduate school said it is not with them, it is with Department of Economics. So I was just doing back and forth. And one is in Gwagalada, the other one is in permanent site. Yeah. So I was just shuttling from my airport office to Gwagalada, from Gwagalada to permanent site. So I was just doing that triangle. Then I got tired. And then I was like, okay, let me just go and do another master's.
Okay.
So go and do another master's. Here I am.
Go and do another master. Are you still doing the master now?
No.
After how long have you been in the UK?
Okay, for this particular purpose, I have 5 years now.
You were here to do master. What really attracted you to now stay back in the UK, if I may start from there?
Okay, so after the masters, so I went to the University of Sheffield. So after the masters, there were talks about what you can do afterwards. So I did social research in masters, and social research is multidisciplinary. So it's more like, okay, to bring it down now, it's like a prelim or pre-degree in Nigeria. to PhD.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got a PhD admission, and I was like, okay, should I do this PhD, or should I go back? And then insecurity has started. I started hearing this one has been kidnapped, that one has been kidnapped. I was like, hell no, hell no. So I was still battling with that thought. Then somebody left here and went to Nigeria. So the night he got to Nigeria, he was robbed and he was killed. So it was out of fear now
that made you to stay back. So your being in the UK now was out of fear for insecurity.
Out of fear, because I don't know what transpired between him and people. I don't know what people heard, but the fact that he just got into the country, and that night something happened to him. So it is, and since then, since I got here, I've not gone back to Nigeria. I didn't like it
for 5 years.
Again, out of fear. And a lot of people said, no, we are there, this one, and but things happen, and then it turned out into trauma to some people. And how they deal with it is how they deal with it. This is how I'm dealing with mine. Maybe over time, I don't know, maybe later in the year, I'll just summon courage and still do that, but I've not gone to Nigeria since I got here.
That is very touching. Okay, if I may ask, the little I know about you, and I'm not saying this to flatter you, you're a landlord in Abuja, I know that. You are at least a big guy in Abuja, let me put that way. Maybe not really one of the Abuja biggest boy, but you are one of the Abuja big boy, a landlord in Abuja, probably in Guarimpa and the rest. I'm not trying to reveal your identity, but what was the greatest adjustment you had to make immediately you moved to the UK?
Okay, so I moved alone, and my family were still in Abuja when I got here, and I don't really know how to cook. So let's say I was like on maybe an estimate now. Let's say maybe my waist was 32, for instance, before I got here, and 2 months later, my waist was like 28.
Wow!
So I had shrunk. I had shrunk, and I was having a conversation with my wife one night. And then she was like, she's sending the girl with her to give food to Okun. And I'm like, okay, you're sending someone to give food to Okun. Okun is a security guard. But I'm starving here. But I'm still paying Okun, So, but that's one adjustment that I had to face. I was staying in student accommodation. And then, I was staying in student accommodation and just a room, just a tiny room. Everything is tiny here. And then
their road is tiny.
Everything is tiny.
Tiny, yeah.
So I had to adjust to that. So that is one major thing I think I adjusted to. The food I'm used to. I've been coming before the masters. Before I came for masters, I've been coming here. So adjusting to the food wasn't difficult. But who will cook it? That is the problem.
I've had a talk with a few guests, and one said, when he moved to the UK for 9 months, no job. Some have said, the first job they got was, washing plates, and So, what was the greatest experience that humbled you most in the UK?
Okay. In my own instance, I was coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
So when I got here, and I was just there, I was still waiting, and then pounds turned to 600. Then I met, it was a student accommodation I was staying at that time. So I went to the kitchen, and then I saw some people, and I was like, pounds is now 600. And both of them just looked casually, and they just continued to talk. And I was like, how unbothered? And they were, that they are not bothered, it is not their business, whatever. And then I sat down, like, I can't continue like this. So I had to talk to someone also in the student accommodation. So he linked me up with a job. I started the job. So what job?
The story I just started. What job? Thank you for asking my question for me. What job?
What job? So it was a care job. It was a care job, and I have no experience whatsoever. But it was like So I was like a little reluctant. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go. And he was like, So he spoke in Yoruba to me. Oh, go, Kinro.
And please, for viewers who may not know what care job is all about, care job is taking care of people with
dementia, autism, elderly,
people with disabilities, and sometimes you have to change their is it pampers? You pack their poop. Okay, I'm trying to be careful.
No, don't forget, you pack their poop and clean. Yes, like you're changing diaper for a child.
For a child.
For a toddler or an infant, that kind of thing. So when I got there,
that's your first
no, I couldn't do. And then they had to report me on that shift there. And then they had to call me that, have you done this work before? I said, no, I will do it, don't worry. So I managed, but I was lucky because there were some other Nigerians present. So they guided me, they made it easy for me that night. And then I cracked on from there. Yeah, but I was still in the uni, so I'll go to school, I'll still do that. I'll go to school, I'll still do that. So I was doing that weekends, Friday, I was doing nights. So I'll do Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, then Monday morning I'm back to class. Yeah.
If I may ask, what is one thing you wished somebody had told you back then in Nigeria before facing this reality?
Like I said, in my own instance, I've been coming.
Okay.
So I have an understanding of things. But I still didn't like that because I was trying to weigh my options regarding what to do. So someone has said factory, but then I heard another person that told me that factory that I'm going to work from.
I did factory.
I'm going to track from. They can bring something in Z, then they say go and bring another thing from M. That all through the shift they are just working, and that you may work 30,000, 30 whatever. That one that you say 30 steps, 30,000 steps. And I was like, can I actually survive doing that? I don't think so. So I don't need something that is going to take so much, that requires so much energy. So I just need something that just requires me to just save.
For those who may be interested, I did warehouse job where you have to stand for like 12 hours. I'll get back home, my back will be aching.
So
those are part of the experiences of Nigerians.
I never did that. I heard that. In fact, that my friend was like that. When he gets home, that the wife will have to probably massage his leg with hot water. And I'm like, my wife was not even here at the time, so there's no way I could have.
Okay, at what point did things begin to get better? Let me put it that way. So that we don't just tell this sad story, because you look fresh. I know little about you. He's a landlord in the UK already. We'll get there. So at what point?
After my masters, so I got a job with Springer Nature, and then I took it. That was the first one, and then it went from there.
Begin to get better.
Yeah.
Thank God for God. Okay, if I may ask.
Yeah, thank God for God.
And I need a blunt answer.
Okay.
Is UK overrated?
It depends on contest now. I won't want to say yes.
Are you afraid of the king? Is UK overrated? I think I would prefer a yes or no answer.
A yes or no?
Yeah.
It is not overrated.
It is not overrated. Okay, why did you say so?
Okay. Now, someone had worked under me last year, and she's British. So I'm supposed to grade her, and I graded her well. I graded her very well, so I'd expected her to probably continue on the job. But she said to me that she does not. She has a 2-year window to decide if she wants to take the job or she does not want to take the job. And she was like, she wants to go to Kenya to teach. That is outside what she's done with me. That she wants to go to Kenya to teach and see if she's going to enjoy that. If she enjoys that, she'll just stay in Kenya. But if she does not enjoy it, she'll come back and take this job. And then I thought about Nigeria. Let's say someone that just finished uni and the person is coming to serve, let's say in farm.
Yeah.
And someone is saying, we are retaining you in farm. That person will go to church and do testimony that, I've been retained. Not because that person wants to stay in farm. Not because the person enjoys what they're doing in farm. But what option have they got?
Yeah.
So because of that, I would say the UK is not.
So UK will present you with so many options.
Yeah.
I like that. This is Nigeria Across Borders, where we go beyond just the journey and dive into the reality. And our mission on this podcast is not to discourage anybody from coming to the UK or encourage anybody. We just want to present you with the reality so that you make up your decision. And from the story so far, yeah, it was rough at the beginning.
Yeah.
But now, yesterday it was a different thing, but today it is a different thing. Okay, if I may ask, Mr. Shitu Samuel, do people back home in Nigeria think you are richer than the way you are? Of course, I know you are a landlord here. I'm not blowing your trumpet because I'm privileged to be close to you. You're a landlord in Nigeria, a landlord here. But like you said, when you came in, you were living in a room. But today, see what God has done. But do people back home still believe this guy is richer than the reality of your pulse here in the UK?
That would be difficult for me to answer, and the reason is because most of the I'm very private.
Okay.
I'm very private. So the majority of the people, they don't even know what. In fact, there's sometimes some of my colleagues in FAN that came here, so they post things, but I'd been here before them and I don't post anything. So someone had to ask me, Shitu, are you suffering? You understand? So it is. I can't really answer that because you don't really know me so much. Even when I was in FAN, people just see me with my native attire, my cap, and then I just do my thing quietly. So you can't really place it. Does he have money? Does he not have money? So even here, also right now, they can't still place it. Does he have money? Does he not have money? But when I need to spend money, I try manage to spend money.
Of course, I know you are not stingy. In case you know, it's the president of the men's fellowship of the church out there. That is Redeemed Christian Church of God Grace Assembly. So he's a man I know very well, and I'm not trying to expose him. I'm not saying you start asking him for money, but I'm just trying to celebrate the grace of God upon his life. He's a landlord. He started as somebody living in a room, but today God has helped him. He has his own house, and I could remember there was an interview I had with you when we were promoting a program, and you said your next target is to do your second mortgage, to have a second house. So just to also encourage people who are determined to come to the UK, Canada, or USA, yes, you can really make it big here, but be prepared for the challenges. Mr. Shitu, back to you.
Okay.
You are a Christian, like I just said, president of Men's Fellowship of a branch of Redeemed Christian Church of God, and because I know the church, you will attend the church, it's a big church. And for you, as a young guy becoming the president, they might have seen something great in you. But I want to ask, is Christianity back home in Nigeria and Christianity here in the UK, are they on the same level? If I may ask, which one do you prefer?
It is easier to be a Christian here than, in my own experience, than to be a Christian in Nigeria. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, with my kind of job, I'm trying to be careful now. So with my kind of job, I give contracts to people. And when I give contract to people, I know that the highest I can get from that contract, no matter the amount, £500,000, whatever, is okay, we're working together. You're not even getting the thank you. They'll deliver what they need to deliver. I'll push them to deliver what they need to deliver, and that's it. That's all. We shake hands, bye, and that's it. Okay. But am I content? Yes, I'm content. But in Nigeria, because you know that probably you're giving out a contract of 2 billion to someone. I don't know if it is by design, I don't know if it is by orientation, I don't know. But because you're giving a contract of 2 billion to someone, like, I'll give a contract of 2 billion to this guy. I can't come and prostrate himself and say thank you.
Thank you. Or to come and
him too, people will tell him, sometimes give you this kind of contract, you just go and tell him thank you with mouth. And then they won't give you, that kind of thing. So, that kind of temptation is already out of the way here. You're just doing your job, you're doing your job.
The system works better.
That's why I said this. That's one reason why I said this. You won't be tempted to start
to compromise your faith
where you're not supposed to look. So that is one. Another reason why I say it is easier to be a Christian here is, see, Solomon said something that, God, please make me not to be so hungry that I'll go and steal, and then your name will be put to shame. Then he went further and said, don't give me so much riches also that I'll say, who are you,
Who are you, God?
Now, looking at the first part of that statement, there are people in Nigeria that really, really want to do well, they really want to work, they really want to, a lot of things. But they don't even have a job.
Not there.
They don't have a job. They've tried, they've tried a lot of things, but they still haven't gotten a job. But here, as long as you don't want to fold your hands,
and you are here legally,
you will work,
you will eat.
you will feed. See, and there's this Yoruba adage that, okay, let me not say it in Yoruba.
No, I say,
When
it's
is out of poverty. Poverty is gone. So if I know that my daily bread is secured, serving God won't be so difficult. So that, according to my opinion, I think, I would say it is easier to serve God.
And I think I want to agree with you. Let me come in here. Also, I do tell people that if you're in the UK, yes, the beginning may be tough. But once you are a bit stabilized, that is if you are here legally.
Yeah.
Food, like we said, may not be a prayer point.
No,
then if you have children who are, especially primary or secondary school, you don't need to.
School fees
is not a prayer point. And many people back home in Nigeria, if food and taking care of their children could be taken, Nigeria will be contented,
Exactly.
Especially here too, you don't need to pray for life. There's some basic amenities that are in place.
Yeah.
That is not to encourage you to Japa. There's no place like that. Okay, back to you, Mr. Shichu. And let me ask this question. Enjoyment is different from fulfillment.
Yeah. That's
Are you fulfilled in the UK with the kind of job you are doing now? Is that your passion? Is that your vision?
I am fulfilled, really, because when I think about it, when I look at where I'm coming from and where I am now, maybe like someone has said I'm among the 1%, but whatever interpretation they want to give to it, I think, I'm fulfilled. I doubt if I will do better in Nigeria than I'm doing now. If I'd been in Nigeria, I don't think I will. I don't know.
So are you saying no regrets of relocating to the UK?
I have no regret whatsoever.
No regret.
No,
Some people regretted it, but you no regret.
You see, the issue about regret, there's nobody that's been here that will say that they have not at one point or the other not felt like, am I sure I didn't make a mistake coming here?
You just helped me with a question now.
I had that moment.
Have you had that moment? What led to that?
I did.
That you almost regretted of coming.
Okay, so I was still doing care. Back to my care days, I was doing care. And I got on the shift. I know where you're coming from, Nigeria, you're coming with this kind of mindset. Maybe consider and looking at where you're coming from, your kind of job, the kind of people under you, those kind of things, and then you're coming like that. So maybe you're a boss in your own right. And then here at 21 you're done with school. Maybe at 21 you're a nurse. And now you're a nurse, you're in charge. And you see one bros, and you're telling the bros politely, they're very polite, British people are very polite. And they're telling you politely, no, this is what you need to do. And you're like, this small girl, this small,
It's not up to the age of our last month.
So I got on that shift that day, and it's a night shift. And people, those that do day shift, they just leave things for the night shift people because they believe you're just coming there will be not so much things to do. So they just came, and then there's this woman that we entered the ward, and then everyone was stinky, and then we're like, what is smelling? So myself and the lady that were on the shift together were checking and looking for where is this smell coming from? Then we saw the woman, and when we saw the woman, oh my God, we're like, why would they leave
this woman like this?
We cleaned that night.
You cleaned poo.
And that night I was like, Kai.
Shemi no
I was telling the lady that we were together that if a prophet had told me in Nigeria that Samuel Shitu you would do this, I would tell that prophet that you are saying nonsense.
I think I have civilized, right? But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But thank God today is a better story.
Exactly.
Moving forward, if somebody wants to relocate now, maybe if you permit to use the word Japa, maybe a friend, a brother, and he plays a call to you that, Egbon, what would be your advice? Talk to the person now.
Well, the first thing I'll ask the person is, what is your plan?
I just want to escape this hardship in Nigeria.
You can't escape hardship. If you're coming to escape hardship, you're coming to embrace. You don't escape hardship because you just want to run away. You escape hardship because you have a plan. Because you have a plan. For instance, so people see me and then they're just like, you're just fresh. But I didn't have a plan to stay per se. But when I decided to stay,
You had a plan.
I had a plan. And number one, you see, success here is not wishful thinking. You know, in Nigeria, success is you go to the mountain, you pray, you fast, yes.
Pastor pour anointing oil on you, lay hands, lay stomach.
I pray every day.
I know.
I pray every day. But success here is not solely determinant. The sole determinant of success here is not prayer and fasting. It's not wishful thinking. You have to put in the job, the work. I was showing someone the number of sorry we regret that I got only on civil service jobs. And then I was scrolling. The person came for interview, that I should prepare them for interview. So we're having a conversation. I was like, even if this interview didn't go well, don't worry. And then the person saw all of it. I was like, this is only civil service. Wow. You know, but the majority of us, we just want to
wish it happened overnight.
So if you're coming, I'll ask you, what are you coming to do? What's your plan? So if you're coming to do international business management, stay in Nigeria. Because you will come, except you don't mind doing care for a very long time. So if you're coming to say, let's say, nursing, please start coming. Radiography, fly and start coming. Cybersecurity, start coming. But international business management. I know these British people, they have a very fine way of packaging those master's degree courses. They give you one name and then you just...
And I think, with due respect, let me come in here. We want to make this podcast as real as possible. This was one of the mistakes we made, my family. When we were coming, sincerely, we just wanted to leave. My wife applied, she did international tourism and aviation management. You know, like I said, my intention was just to stay for 1 year after a master's, then go to Canada to continue my own vision, which is I had admission in Toronto Film School, which is still pending up to now. And I'm here for over 3 years because after the master, we now discovered that international tourism and aviation management is not viable.
But you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know, you know. So and that's what I'm saying. You have a plan. You need to have a plan.
And again, countries, different countries, different skill shortage.
Yeah.
You have to understand that. Let's say you're going to Ireland, you have to understand what skills are shortage. What skills do you have in shortage there? You're going to maybe Netherlands, you have to think about, okay, what skills do you have in shortage there? You're coming to the UK, you have to understand, okay, what skills do you have in shortage there? If you're not among that sphere of people in that kind of job, and probably you're not doing a master's to learn that, I don't think you should.
And to conclude that story, because if my wife is watching, you say, why didn't I say the ending part of it? It took her 3 years to find her feet. And which, you know, thank God today, as we are talking now, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, she has found her feet doing the job she had wished. So, but it took her 3 good years because we didn't know better. Tenacity, but thank God it will get better. But just for those who are watching, if you want to Japa, have a plan.
Japa, but have a plan.
Have a plan. Is there anything you miss so much about Nigeria? What would that be?
I didn't miss anything.
You didn't miss anything? Your family is here with you now?
My family is here, my parents, everyone will come.
Okay, they come at ways.
So what am I missing then?
You don't miss Nigerian food?
Nigerian food is here, Food Emporium, cook Nigerian food.
So you just did that for Food Emporium? They need to pay for this. So in Sheffield, if you want to enjoy Nigerian food, local food, go to Food Emporium. Yeah, so they are there. I think I know the guy is my friend. I can do that for him free.
Thank you.
And I'm a lovely one. So Food Emporium is all the better.
But on standard kind of amala. That's what I will say.
Okay, I heard that UK is very boring, or could be very boring. When it comes to romance, social life is low. Have you experienced loneliness or boredom at any point in time?
Yeah, that is correct. UK is very, very boring. It is very boring. For instance, most times when you see people gather to do maybe a party or something in Nigeria, the majority of the people you see in that gathering will be colleagues from work. Well, I just had my daughter's 10th birthday. You were there.
I was there.
How many people did you see there? You see. So it is, I don't know, it is a very boring country. It is a very boring country. But then we are Nigerians. Again, that is part of the plan.
Tenacity.
You have to. That is part of. So you have to create an environment for yourself so that you won't be bored. That is just the way it is.
Will you be honest with this next question?
Absolutely.
I saw on Facebook one day somebody was complaining UK loneliness, congee, and I've had an encounter with you person as master of ceremony, which I've been to some event, either couples night, and people talk. I've heard a lot of men complain about being starved of sex. I feel, is it true, or have you experienced compared to what you used to enjoy maybe 4 times in a week? Because here, shift, you are working, your wife is working, and sometimes I feel, how are you managing that?
Well, like I said, all of these things are relative. I won't say yes to that. I won't agree to that.
Okay, but are people going through that?
People do.
Okay.
People do. Yeah, people do.
But for you?
But for me, it is not the case. Now, maybe because of my flexibility with work, or flexible, how flexible
your job is.
Yeah, maybe because of that. But it is not the case in my own instance. I think the issue is when you have a lot going on to do. For instance, you still have school fees to pay, meaning you don't have the luxury of not working so much. But once you've gone out of that phase, I don't want to think you should still be caught in that sphere.
Okay. What are the 3 things you think UK does better than Nigeria?
Security.
1, security.
Okay, security is the personal safety. Will I categorize financial stability as part of security?
I think you can put it that way.
Okay. So if I'm categorizing it under security, so it will be financial security, personal safety-wise security, and a system that will work for you.
I love that.
So those 3 things. I'm going out. The other time I got home at past 1 a.m. and then I was walking on my street. I wasn't scared for 1 minute.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared. I was just.
I think it has even happened to me several times. I travel Aberdeen. Sometimes I return 2 a.m. Especially when I was living in S1. My place is like 10 minutes trek from the train station. I've arrived like 2 a.m. I would just trek. Nobody.
So you're not praying that where's my bathroom?
My bathroom.
Yeah, that is not part of your prayer point. So, and the safety bit we can't flag that enough. Like I was at a gathering during the Boss Evaluation Center of Excellence in 2024 in London, and the minister was there also. So while the minister was talking about his bit, it was like, okay, all of you guys, your research had let me understand that most of the time people are safe on public transport.
Yeah.
But he does not want people to be safe most of the time on public transport. He wants people to be safe all of the time.
All of the time.
On public transport. So you can't quantify that.
You can't quantify that. Okay, let's move to a question similar to that. What are the 3 things you think if Nigeria should get right or should fix? 1, it will discourage people from Japa, then also to encourage people, because the truth remains, if Nigeria is better, many people may want to go back home. So what are the 3 things you feel if will peradventure a senior government official or the next president of Nigeria is watching this show, that if Nigeria should fix, we discourage people from leaving Nigeria, we encourage people from coming back home, people like you that for over 5 years you've not stepped, I think even for visiting. What are the 3 things? Security.
1. And then, again, it still goes down this circle that I just mentioned in the UK now. Security. Then if I know that okay, I have the tenacity to deliver something. I have the capacity. I have the strength, intellectual strength, physical strength to deliver something, and I know that I will be given the opportunity to prove myself to get it. You know, in Nigeria, as small as FAN was, I don't know what the issue is now, but back in the day when I got into FAN is not among the top 10 government parastatals in Nigeria. So imagine that level of where it is, where you can't just probably apply and get a job. Somebody must bring you.
Yeah.
But that is not happening here. I work in the civil service. That does not happen here.
No.
It does not happen here. So
you employ based on your competence.
Yeah, employ based on your competence. So if that is plausible in Nigeria, sincerely, a lot of people will go back because they know they've acquired so much knowledge, they've learned so much, they have a lot to deliver. So that's two.
Yeah.
What's the third one?
Someone said justice.
Yes.
Maybe I should borrow you that.
Please. I have the reason. Yes, please. So I was driving my younger brother's car one day. You know that airport road, the one that has a lot of bump.
Yeah. In Abuja.
After Jabi.
Yeah, after Jabi.
After Jabi, as if you're going to the airport. That bumpy road.
That
Before
bumpy
you
road.
take on that express road.
Yeah, another place.
So there were these people there, and then they were like, stop, and then I stopped, and then it was like, you cannot go, and I was like, okay, why? And it was like, that, who is the owner of this car? I was like, it's my younger brother's car. And I was like, okay, where's the younger brother? I said, my younger brother is at home. Can you identify yourself? I showed them my fan ID card. So it was like, okay, wait. So when the boss now came, the boss now said, you can't go like that too. You can't just go like that too. I mean, I understand the language, let me go. So that's why they let me go. That was like, the other person that stopped me first was like, no, you can't still go. That you can't still go. This one that is working in FAN. And then I was like, if I said, okay, I'm not even giving anything again. Sincerely, I will pay more
You will pay more than. I've been a victim as well.
I will pay more than. So, does that make sense?
It doesn't.
People have died because of things like that. Discussion can go south. I'm not giving, you're giving, I'm not giving, you're giving, and then
A lot of people have died.
a lot of people have died. Did they get justice? No.
And like the guys said, if justice is in place, it will definitely correct the
It will correct a lot of things.
Insecurity,
It will correct
the corruption, a lot. Because when there is repercussions for your
when you know, here, if you feel cheated, you know, okay, fine, I can fight it. And you know you get justice for that.
If your case is
no matter how long it takes, you know you will get it. So if people know that if I feel cheated, if I do a business transaction with you and I feel cheated, I know there's a justice, there's a system that can fight for me to get justice. Since, in fact, everything I've said since, all of the things I've mentioned before, get justice right to fall in place.
And our justice system, I'm not calling lawyers or judges, I'm just talking. Please, it's like you're one of the biggest problems of Nigeria.
Because someone is, for instance, let's say FIRS now. FIRS is bugging you. You feel this is not right. You can't even fight them. But here you can fight government.
You can fight government. You can fight government.
But you can't do anything. Sincerely, in fact, like I said before, everything I've mentioned earlier, take them away. This justice, fix it. Every other thing will fall in place.
Fix justice, every other thing will fall in place. This is, we have so many people like you, forgive me to put it that way, who left Nigeria 5, some even 10 years ago. They've not come back home. What advice do you have for them? Do you want to tell them to keep saying bye-bye to Nigeria?
No, you can't say bye-bye to Nigeria.
Okay, please talk to your colleagues.
You can't say bye-bye, because I am not saying bye-bye to Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm not saying bye-bye to Nigeria. You can't say bye-bye to Nigeria, because anyhow you want to look at it, even if you're a British, if I'm a British now, I'm a Nigerian first. So you can't say bye-bye to Nigeria. No matter what it is there, it is still our country. We still identify with it. No matter who I am, I'm a Nigerian. I'm proudly Nigerian. So we still identify with it. So people that are not, that are like me, I don't know what reason, like I told you, my mind is out of fear.
Yeah.
So I don't know what reason they've got, but I'll say, please, let's do better. I hope to do better this year. So even if it's just to go and see.
And how do you think Nigeria in diaspora could contribute to the betterment of that great country called Nigeria?
Invest. You don't have to invest money alone. You can invest resources. You can invest, like for instance, I work in accessible and inclusive travel. And how many do we even have a public transport in Nigeria to start with? I can reach out and say, okay, this is what I'm doing here, and this is how it's working. Because someone that is probably blind in Nigeria, I'm not sure they can go out.
Yeah, but here
you can go out.
People alone.
You can go out.
I've seen them a lot with their, you're right.
They can go out by themselves. So you see, like I said, okay, this is what I'm doing here. I'm not sending money. I'm just probably sending an information somehow. That this is what I'm doing here, this is how I've been doing it, this is how you can do it if you want to do it. And probably leave it to them. You've done something.
Okay, my second to the last question. What has been your proudest achievement since you came to the UK?
Okay, for some of us, satisfaction is not money.
Yeah.
So, in my line of work, there's this Japanese delegate that are coming. London transport system is one of the most complex in the world.
It is.
So they're coming from Japan to understand how it's working and how they can improve theirs. And because of my line of job, so I had to be present in that meeting to tell them what to do. And I'm like, so I had to present actually. I had to present out there.
I love your job.
And
You have a good job.
And then I was like, I'm not even a British yet, and then I'm actually here on behalf of the Crown, because I'm actually working for the Crown, so I felt proud.
I love that. And I'm proud of you. And I believe Nigerians watching this are proud of you. And I feel like asking this question, even though I said the last question, as a men fellowship leader, a leader would like, marriages are breaking in the UK.
Absolutely.
Maybe not just in the, but far worse than what is happening back home.
Yeah.
Because of, stress and struggle. Now speak to men in diaspora. One of our guests once said adaptability. Some people are big back home, but here in the UK, myself, I wash plate. Some of us, I don't know about you, but some of us are now washing plate. Back home, like you say, you have a co who's a gate man. I have my own younger brother back home who washes my car, or used to wash my car. We have house help who normally come maybe around 8 a.m., go by 3 p.m. What? But here, my wife goes to work, I have to cook sometimes, which I was not used to. I have to wash my cars sometimes I don't want to go. So, what advice do you have for men to sustain their marriage for the sake of their children? Okay. Talk to men in diaspora.
Okay. Let's go biblical now.
Okay.
So the Bible says that wife submit to your husband. And then it gave the man also a condition saying, husband, love your wife. Love your wife. So someone had said that the wife does night shift. And when the wife comes back from the night shift, he sees the way he sees his wife and he wasn't happy. And he had to take some trouble off her. So if you love someone, it will be easy for the person to see that you love them. And as men, really, I don't know, but I think most of the men now, sorry to our mothers, but I would say most of the men my age, I'm over 40, most of the men my age bracket were not properly raised. Were not properly raised. Because, like you said now, you wash plates.
Yeah.
Because you think it is necessary to do.
To support this woman.
To support. That is it. It is necessary to do. So how can, if you now say you don't want to do that, after all, you are the man. Most men now, we are highly unreasonable. Most men now are lazy and
They
unreasonable.
prefer to watch Arsenal match while the wife. Are you an Arsenal fan?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Okay, Chelsea fan.
Lazy and unreasonable. When Adam and Eve did what they did and everything happened in the Garden of Eden. Sorry, I'm going by the
No problem. It's a time.
The Bible says that when God came, God is all-knowing. So meaning he knows what happened, he saw what happened, he understands what happened. But when he came, he didn't ask Eve, you this woman, I gave you a man to help. I gave you a man to do this one. You went into... He didn't talk to the woman. He spoke to the man.
Wow.
Because the man is supposed to be in charge.
Wow.
So if you are responsible to know that this thing is in your hands, it must work, then you should do what will make it work. Sincerely, women are not difficult to manage.
Women are not difficult to marry. I don't want to over-drag this podcast, so some men will disagree with you. But are you saying now in summary that most of the broken marriages in the UK or in diaspora, we should blame men?
No.
More? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, because of my position in church, I'm speaking now to my brothers, speaking now to my friends, let's do our bit.
Good. If you now decide to be something else,
but let's do our bit. Let's be responsible.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel Shitu.
Thank you.
The last segment of this question, which will take more than 1 minute, I will ask just 10 questions and I need direct answer. Okay. Naija or UK, or Naija or abroad, whichever I put it, food and the rest. Okay. So we'll start. Okay. I need your prompt answer. Okay. When it comes to food, which one do you prefer, Naija or abroad?
Naija.
Naija 1-0. Weather, Naija or abroad?
Naija.
2-0. Work culture, Naija or abroad?
Abroad.
Abroad 2-1. Social life through parties, Naija or abroad?
Naija.
Naija 3-1. Family life, Naija or abroad?
Naija.
4-1. Ministry, so spiritual life, since you're a church person, Naija or abroad?
Abroad.
Abroad.
Sorry, let me break it. Nigerians, we are religious than we are Christians.
But raising children, Naija or abroad?
Naija.
5-2. Healthcare, Naija or abroad? So I should know the answer.
Abroad.
So 5-3. Life after retirement, as in where do you want to go and,
That is relative, but for me, Naija.
For you, Naija, that is history. And the final question on this segment. If you have to choose where feels more like home, Naija or
home is home. Naija. Your home is your home. If you like, have British passport, Canadian passport, America, all of them come.
So, my viewers, that is 7-3. So that means this man should be in Nigeria. What are you sitting in the UK?
I'll be going to Nigeria later this year.
I love that. Oh, praise God. I love that. After 5 years. And this is to you, our viewers, no matter where you are in the world. Canada, America, Australia, Dubai, UK. Don't forget your roots. No place.